Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Makisha. Yeah, I know it has been a long time. A lot has happened, a lot has changed. This video I'm just gonna do a little update, life update on your girl. Your girl is trying to come back. I'm trying to start back creating content. Carnival, natural hair, everything. I'm back. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I had a baby 3 months ago. Baby Noah is now 3 months. So I'm 3 months postpartum. Just have some pictures coming across the screen of my maternity shoot. Girl looked amazing. My pregnancy wasn't bad. It definitely was a good pregnancy until like the very end when I had to go into labor. Yeah, my labor and delivery story. So yeah, welcome. New background. Hope you guys like it. I like it. I actually just put it together this week, day by day. So I'm proud of it. Now we're in July. So, and that's Noah in the background. All right, y'all. So I basically worked up until the end of my pregnancy, and I didn't really start showing until about like January, February is when I started showing. Wasn't really trying to hide it or anything. It just was weird to me to be like, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. That's all new to me, so I just didn't see myself going that route. My last day at work was supposed to be April 6th, was supposed to be my last official day at work. I was gonna get all my stuff together, and that's gonna be my last day at work. April 1st, I had a doctor's appointment. So because of my age, I was seeing a perinatal doctor as well as my regular OBGYN. So I was getting double care. So if you're over 35, get perinatal as well. So on that Monday, I had an appointment. My blood pressure was a little bit elevated, but after my ultrasound, they had me come back in, tested my blood pressure again. It was still a little elevated, had come down a bit. So they just told me to keep an eye on it. I do have a blood pressure cuff that I was checking my blood pressure and monitoring my blood pressure throughout my pregnancy. On Wednesday, when I went to my doctor's appointment, they did check my cervix, and my cervix was closed. No dilation, no nothing. So I was like, okay, my baby's gonna come on a due date. Hey guys, future Makisha here. I'm gonna pause. Did forget some things to mention, but this pregnancy has truly taught me how to release and let go. God is in control. I can plan. You should always plan, but just always know in the back of your mind that your plans might not always work out the way you want them to work out. But yeah, so let's keep watching. And she was on vacation that week, so I saw a nurse practitioner, and my blood pressure was normal and it was fine. But she told me if it goes above a certain number, then definitely just go to the ER. The 4th, the day after the doctor's appointment. That night, I checked my blood pressure and it was elevated. I was like, okay, let me just relax, you know, take a nap and see. Ended up getting up the next morning, checking it again, and it was elevated. So I got up, started getting myself together to go to work, and I called my coworker and I'm like, yo, my blood pressure has been, you know, climbing up. It hasn't come back down yet. She does a lot of like natural stuff, so I was like, okay, let me reach out to her. She told me some stuff to get. She was like, you need to go to the emergency room, just go and get checked out. Called into work, told them as of right now I don't think I'm coming in. Me thinking I'm still going to work, you know. 37 weeks and like 4 or 5 days. So we get to the ER and they're like, yeah, your pressure is elevated. They put me on the monitors, and then they're like, and you're having contractions. I'm like, I'm not even feeling any contractions, but they're like, you're having contractions and your pressure is elevated. We went over the numbers from the night before, and the doctor, she was Jamaican. She was not having it. She was like, you know what we call these numbers? We call these numbers stroke numbers. You could have had a stroke. You don't play with your blood pressure, especially when you're pregnant. She went over what's actually occurring when my pressure is high and the blood flowing through the placenta to the baby, and she was like, we're gonna admit you. My doctor's out of town, so I'm already freaking out because I picked my doctor specifically for my labor and delivery. I'm like, I need so she's on vacation that week, so I'm just like, oh my goodness. So she said the ER doctor spoke to the doctor on call, and the doctor on call said that he was gonna induce, and I was like, I don't want to be induced. I got Donna on the phone, my husband in the room with me, and I'm like, I don't want to be induced. She was like, it's a risk, like your blood pressure is really high. So I was like, okay, fine, you know. And then I believe he started with Cervidil. That's not it. I'm gonna put it up here on this side, which is like it looks like a tape that they put into your cervix to help it soften and ripen and dilate. So that was Friday. And then that doctor finally, so they moved me from triage into the labor and delivery room with my husband. I was able to eat and everything. And then the doctor came in later that day. So this is all happening around 2 p.m.-ish when we got to the hospital. And then the doctor came in around 5 o'clock so I could meet him and everything, because of course my doctor is on vacation. So he came in so I could meet him, and he spoke to me. He told me, like, pack my patience. It's gonna be a minute, you know, my baby's not ready to come out. I'm still early, 37 weeks and change. I'm full term, but so we were there Friday night. That happened. I started, I believe they bumped it up to the first pill. I don't remember the name, but my husband has everything listed, so it's gonna be on the screen. So then I got that, and that really kickstart contractions. I was feeling pain like out of my mind. I was on the birthing ball, just trying to get comfy. I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna just sit in the chair because I couldn't get comfy in the bed, and I was just in so much pain. So Saturday the doctor came back, and if I mind, if he checks, and not much movement. All that pain I was feeling didn't do much. So that was Saturday. So Saturday we labored and we tried different things. Little to no movement. I got to, I believe, 3 centimeters, and then that not really much movement. They did give me painkillers here and there. I had my IV on this hand, which my vein is still like movable. Like I could go like this and my vein is moving. Crazy. So Sunday around 5 p.m. they increased my dosage of Pitocin, and I also started using the laughing gas, nitrous oxide. My doctor reached out and she was like, you're not making much progress, and you're already like almost to your max of the Pitocin that we can give you. We're gonna do a reset. And y'all, in between Saturday and Sunday, the amount of times that they checked my cervix must have been like 4 times. And would y'all believe how painful that was for your girl? It was so painful, like extremely painful, unbearable. I had to get pain medication just before they checked my cervix because it was so painful getting my cervix checked. And I'm like, if that's that painful, imagine how actual birthing is gonna be. That was on the 7th. So Sunday the 7th, she was like, well, we're just gonna reset everything. Can go eat, take a shower, and then at midnight we're gonna reset everything. So I was like, okay, cool. I knew the amount of pain that I was in every time they had to check my cervix. So I was like, I'm definitely gonna do the epidural. I can't hold out anymore. I'm in pain. Checking my cervix hurts. So I was like, and I hadn't slept since Friday night. There was no sleep, okay? No sleep Friday, now it's Sunday night. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the epidural. So they did my labs and everything to make sure I was okay to still have the epidural. They gave me the epidural at midnight. I'm like tearing up. They gave me the epidural at midnight, and after they gave me the epidural, which was a scary process, by the way, then gave me one of the pills to restart the induction. First, she didn't start with Pitocin. She started with the pill. I can't remember what it's called, but she started with that first at midnight. So I had that, and then I was like, yes, let's do the epidural before that medication kicked in, and then I could finally sleep, y'all. I was probably snoring up a storm in that room. I was able to sleep, my husband was able to sleep, but then within like a half an hour or so, the nurses kept coming in my room. They kept coming in. I mean, my husband and I, we were able to learn how to read the monitors. So for my contractions and for the baby's heart rate, we were able to read, like, understand the monitors. So they kept coming in the room, changing me. Like, turn to this side, turn to that side. It just kept switching me, and I'm telling my husband, like, something's wrong. Like, look at the monitor. What do you see? And then at that point, he's like, I don't see anything. Everything looks fine. And then I'll go back to sleep, and then they'll be back in there again. And then I'm like, something's up. And then finally, the nurse came into the room. My husband was still laying down. The nurse came into the room, and with another nurse, 2 nurses came into the room. And they were like, oh, doctor, whatever my doctor's name is, said that she's coming in to do a cesarean. I was like, what? They actually called her and let me speak to her. So they had her on speaker so my husband and I can talk to her, because during the pregnancy, of course, we got to know her, my husband got to know her, so we were like, okay, let's talk. She's like, I don't like doing C-sections. Trust me, I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't necessary, but the baby is just not tolerating the contractions well. Something's going on. She's like, but I'm already in the car, I'm on my way, we'll talk when I get there. Within like 5 minutes, y'all, she was in my room. I'm like, what? She was like, I don't live far from the hospital. So she's there and she's talking to me and she's showing now she's showing me, let me use this paper. Now she's showing me the chart, and on the chart you can see that I will have a contraction, like I'll have a big contraction, and then the baby's heart rate would drop really, 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 really low. And it happened a good number of times. Like she's showing me the chart. Now I'm like, oh my goodness, what's going on? So I was like, okay, fine, let's do it. So we called my sister. My husband and I, we called my sister and we prayed. So we're praying and we're hoping and we're praying to God that everything is going to be fine. The baby's fine. I'll be okay. They start prepping me for the C-section, like shaving my stomach area, cleaning off whatever. And then my husband went into the bathroom and he was getting ready. And for some reason, when they laid me flat on my back, the baby's heart rate dropped even more. So now it's like the doctor's not running in, like, what's going on? Is these numbers real? The machines are going off and I'm just going out of my mind, scared. So now my husband comes back into the room from the bathroom, putting on the stuff, and he's like, he doesn't know what's going on, but I do, but he was in the bathroom. So I'm like, they're like, we gotta go now, page NICU, page this person, page that person, we gotta go right now. And I'm just laying there and just trying to stay calm. So my husband comes out and he sits down and I'm like, babes, we gotta go. Like, they're about to rush me out. And then they're wheeling me away and I'm seeing him and he's like putting the stuff on and he's coming with me. And then they had him sit in the hallway while they prepped me inside. I didn't know that with a C-section, they strap your arms down. I didn't know that. That was different. And I was freezing in there. So then finally my husband came. He's sitting right next to me while they're doing everything. They have like the curtain. It's like they show you in the movies. It's high up and it's covered and stuff. So then I wasn't hearing the baby. I didn't hear the baby cry at all. I didn't hear Noah cry. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm telling my husband I don't hear him crying because I can feel the pressure and stuff happening in my lower area. So I can tell, like, you know, stuff is happening. But I don't hear the baby crying. Then a nurse came over and they grabbed my husband and they told my husband to come over. So now I'm just sitting there, laying there by myself, and I'm just like, what is going on? So this random little nurse that was walking behind me while I'm laying here like this, I was like, is the baby okay? She's like, yeah, the baby's good. I'm like, okay, because I kept going in and out of sleep and I just was fighting to stay awake. But with all the medication and everything, I don't know, I couldn't stay awake. After they took my husband, then my doctor came over and she started speaking to me. He's okay. He doesn't need to be in the NICU or anything like that. He's good. She said he pooped in the womb, so he had the meconium all over him. So they were cleaning him up, and she was like, his umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck. So that explains why his heart rate kept dropping like that. Oh, she's like, but he's good. He has a lot of hair, and he's this, and he's good. So just give him a second. So then they brought him over, and we took pictures, and he looked amazing. He looked just like his ultrasound pictures. Like, I'm like, yes, this is my baby. Okay? Guys, so I stayed in the operating room while my husband took baby Noah back to our original labor and delivery room where they were able to do skin to skin. And then I stayed in the operating room where they were like sewing me up, making sure I was good. Y'all, I was freezing. My iron numbers were low. I was still numb, but I was freezing. So in the operating room, they started bringing me heated blankets, like covering my shoulders, trying to keep me warm. I was just freezing and excited to get back to the room to see baby Noah again and, you know, bond with him. Then when I got back to the labor and delivery room, of course my husband was there with baby Noah. They wheeled me into the room. I was able to do skin to skin with Noah, have Noah latch for breastfeeding, all in the room. My husband was able to assist with that. Then they had my husband take all our bags upstairs. Started out with little ice chips, which were delicious to me. But slowly, and then your girl just started vomiting up all the ice chips. But overall, it was an experience. My blood pressure just kept going in waves. You still have high blood pressure and your blood pressure could just be... We were able to go home 2 days after delivery. We took newborn photos at the hospital and everything, and it was Nice. I don't know if I should include this in this video. I will just include it. So he was born on April 8th. We went home on the 10th. And on the 12th, your girl's blood pressure was high again. So we had to go back to the hospital. And that was a scary experience. So guys, I'm going to pause the video right here. Stay tuned for part 2 where I go over being readmitted to the hospital with preeclampsia. Thank you guys so much for your love, your support, your well wishes for baby Noah and I. It has been definitely a journey. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And in the next video, you guys might see baby Noah. So stay tuned.